welcome to my third quirky stay. Welcome to Celtic Woodland Lodge. Celtic Woodland Lodge? I think so. Celtic Woodland Lodge. I am in a hand-built cabin, modular cabin here, and this is going to be a really lovely couple of days. Very different to the other two that I've stayed in. If anything, should have done this one first and built up, especially to the truffle at Honeydown, because let's face it, this is much more what you would imagine I might stay in if I was doing glamping cabins in the woods type scenario. I am on the edge of a woodland in the middle of Wales, overlooking the Cambrian Mountains. I'm actually on a campsite. There's quite a few things going on around me. There's people around. They can probably hear me do this, which is a bit weird, but we're going with it anyway. I've not been here long. I've dumped all my stuff in the cabin. I've made a cup of tea, and I was just thinking I should probably get to relaxing straight away. Don't you think? Yeah. So I've come inside because people can definitely hear me, because I can hear them just when they're talking quietly. That is going to be one of the potential downsides of this particular location over the last cabin in the woods that I stayed in anyway. But I really must try not to compare the two. And actually, this is really nice. It's actually quite large. I don't know if I do this if it makes you feel sick. I wasn't kidding when I said I've literally just dumped my stuff and made a cup of tea. That is genuinely what I did first. I've done a little bit of sorting. I've got myself situated. I'm on my second cup of tea. It's only about 6 o'clock, so I've got the whole evening. I just wanted to say a few things about where I am and what I'm doing. Hopefully you've seen my previous 2 videos in this series that I don't know how long it might be. These quirky stays, these sort of 1 or 2 night breaks away in interesting, random, soft, gentle kind of accommodation. I've organised myself to do this, to try and get myself away so that I can do some thinking and do some writing and do some reading and all of those other things that might help me process the grief that I'm currently experiencing. As with the other 2 videos, I'm not dwelling on that grief in these videos. I'm trying to use this vlogging thing as an extension of my writing to give me a creative outlet, something to concentrate on. Not the reason to go away. I can use this creative outlet to channel some of my thoughts, feelings, as a way of expressing myself in a slightly different way. I don't know what you're thinking looking at me doing this. You know, this mid-40s woman, recently widowed, trying to make sense of the world she now lives in. What's she choosing to do? Oh, she's driving for 2 hours into the middle of goodness knows where in Wales, and she's staying in a wooden cabin overlooking some mountains on her own. Why would she do that? She's doing this because I am falling back on the rhythms that I have lived for the last 44 years. I'm trying to use those things to continue to help me and to continue to try and find some joy and love and wonder and all the rest of it in this situation that I find myself in. Does that make sense? That's where I'm at. That's why I'm here. Before I show you around my cabin, I want to answer the question you've all been asking. By all of you, I mean about 2 people who I know quite well, and that is, what's my quirky stay chocolate treat of choice this time? And let me tell you, I've gone for Mallow and Marsh chocolate coated marshmallows. It's surprising how quick something becomes a tradition. When I went to Honeydown, I took truffles to eat in my truffle house. And then when I went to Bristol, I stayed in a rocket caravan, which is kind of like an Airstream. And there I decided, well, what chocolate treat works? I took a mint Terry's chocolate orange, because it's also wrapped in shiny metal. Caravan wrapped in shiny metal, chocolate wrapped in shiny metal. So marshmallows, and the reason I've done this is because I'm in a campsite and there are fire pits here, and I thought toasting marshmallows. But let's face it, I'm not lighting a fire pit here, not when it doesn't get dark until 9 o'clock at night, and so that's when I'd have to start it. I thought marshmallows that I don't need to toast. But first I'm gonna have my dinner, and my dinner tonight is past Zoe taco bowl, something that I batch cooked and froze, and then it's been defrosting, and it has the added bonus that it keeps everything else cool in the cool box. With that I shall have some grated cheese and some potato chips, and I'm very hungry now I think about food. Let me spin you around and let me quickly show you around my cabin in the woods. So entering across this bridge thing, the outside of the cabin's gorgeous. There's bins on one side and then a big cool box provided on the other side. Inside then, there's 4 bench seats. I had to bring my own bedding, but more on that later. And then this is the little kitchen area. Honestly, it has everything that I could possibly need to make a simple dinner. Cupboards full of, well, you know, all the things you might need to live in this little cabin for a few days. Gorgeous views, more of those in a minute. And then over here then we have a wood burning stove to keep you warm. And then this dinette situation, which goes down into a double bed, which I'll show you later. Then outside, there's a large deck area. There's a table and 4 chairs. There's a lot of trees and foliage which separates you from the other people on the site, which is great. Yeah, it's just really, really gorgeous. The main thing, of course, is this spectacular view over rolling countryside and the Cambrian Mountains. And then, yeah, looking back at the cabin there at the back, it is just really lovely. Can you hear the kids playing? If only they weren't screaming quite so much, it would be quite pleasant to hear them enjoy the outdoors, but they're enjoying being outside and I must remember that. Just walked the perimeter of the site, there's footpaths all the way around. It is really gorgeous. I chose the cabin because the website promised a popping sunset from my deck. It is just starting to pop now. The view is going to be incredible. Whilst we were enjoying the sunset, I made my bed. It's looking all right. It's the kind of place that you bring your own bedding. I could have paid for bedding if I wanted to, but I decided I could just bring it from home. And I ummed and ahed about whether to bring just a sleeping bag. I'm glamping. I brought the car. I brought proper bedding. I think I'm going to be quite comfortable in here. I think now the sun has set, I will probably get ready for bed, read some of my book and go to sleep. I think I will wish you a good night and I will see you in the morning when the plan is to go and hike up a big hill. Good morning. Well, good morning from an incredibly peaceful Celtic woodland holidays. It's a bit of a chill in the air this morning, but it's a beautiful morning, wonderful views. I'm doing my Saturday morning routine. Tea, morning pages. I've come to really enjoy slow starts. Just that first hour or so to wake up gently, just get ready for the day in a slow and steady way. I'm keeping my voice down because it's very peaceful. So obviously I want to be respectful, but at the same time, nothing wrong with having a chat, is there? It's not quite all birdsong in this particular site. There's a little bit of road noise that I can hear just down the way. We're up on the side of a hill above the town or the village, famous here for its bridges. We shall go and have a look at some of those, maybe later, maybe tomorrow. I was very pleased when I arrived and I discovered there was a teapot. So I only have to make one set of tea this morning and I can just drink for an hour. I definitely approve of that. Really should get my teapot out at home. I'll do that when I get home. Good thinking, Zoe. And maybe I should have said, forgive my appearance. I do all of this before I have my wash in the morning. I found the cabin really comfortable last night. I think I might leave the bed made today. I don't think I'm going to need that table and chairs today. The weather looks great, so I can sit out here. Woke up very gently with the sunrise this morning, which was really lovely. Cabin is very comfortable. It's clean. It has everything that I could need for a good few days here. There's a double ring gas burner. There's a sink, which is not plumbed in, but it's got a grey water tank underneath so that I don't have to take a washing up bowl anywhere. It also means that I can wash and clean my teeth and do all of that stuff here. And I just need to go up to the block for toilets and showers. Super lovely, super comfortable. The kids did eventually go to bed last night. I could hear them a bit from the inside. I guess I was a bit disappointed, and that's going to be the thing, isn't it, about this particular cabin. There's 5 or 6, 7 different cabins. There's a large tree house, which looks fantastic, by the way. And there are tent pitches as well. Tent platforms like you'd see in the US on the comparison between this particular hut, which is again is a wooden handmade modular cabin, and the honey down truffle. And if you haven't watched that video, do go back and watch it, because that was my first Quirky stay. There's a couple of things to say. One is, I do wonder if my opinion of this would be different if I'd done it first. I'm really very happy here. There's nothing wrong with this site whatsoever. It's gorgeous, but humans have a tendency to compare, don't they? The other thing, of course, is this was half the price, and I do also need to remember that. I did think that the honey down truffle was very spendy, and I was having a bit of a just go anyway moment. This is probably more of the price range that I would generally book. It cost me £80 a night. There'll be a blog post linked in the description of this video. This has got everything. Yes, I had to bring my own bedding. That's completely normal for glamping. As a slight aside, here's a question. Do you have one of the Hotel Chocolat velvetizers? Because I'm sorely tempted. I've resisted the urge ever since they came out, and my husband did too. It's just something that I think maybe I ought to have one now. They've just brought out a new one, haven't they? It seems to also have an option to do cold milk, and milkshakes are one of my favourite things. I do really like a milkshake and a hot chocolate, so I'm quite tempted. So you might wonder what the plan is for today. This is the plan for today. I'm going to go on a hike. Now, the problem with being in Wales is that unlike the hike that I did in Devon, I don't know how to say any of these places. So I'm going to pop on the screen the 2 hills that I plan on walking up today. 2 hills, 2 trig pillars, and hopefully some lovely views over this area of Wales. I've got a picnic, a pork pie from Boston Sausage from Mountains Butchers in Lincolnshire, courtesy of my mother-in-law, so thank you very much for that. Best hiking food. So yes, this is my plan for today. My teapot is empty. Let's go and enjoy some quality outdoors time as part of my Quirky stay. As you can see, I'm out. I am in the beautiful Welsh countryside. It's already glorious. I think I've walked about 1/4 of a mile since I parked the car. I've really not come very far yet. I'm already out in the countryside. I can hear traffic, but there's a couple of main roads down here. I'm sure that won't last long. Looking at the map, I've got 2 hills today, 2 trig pillars. I am currently about 150 metres above sea level, and I think the first one's about 400. And I believe the vast majority of the ascent is done, or like now. It's not too bad at the moment, but I'm expecting there to be a half-mile section or so of this, which is very, very steep, but we will see when we get there what that's actually like in practice. The last big hike I did was actually that Dartmoor one that I featured in my first Quirky stay video, and that was almost exactly a month ago. In the intervening weeks, I've done no real exercise. I've not done any running since that Western Burt 10k I wrote about, middle of May. My fitness is definitely not as it should be, but this is why I'm out here. This is one of the reasons I come out, is to keep myself fit and healthy in all ways. Mind, clearly, I need that at the moment. Soul, it fills me up, but also my body benefits from hills like this. Assuming that the weather and my body and everything else goes to plan, then today's full route is 9.5 miles. OS Maps reckons it's a 5-hour hike. Slow and steady, enjoying being outside. Got all day, and I'm really looking forward to a trig pillar picnic maybe, or at least a trig pillar cup of tea. This is where I'm going up. It does look steep, but it looks short. Dare I say it doesn't look too bad? me. I don't know, my geography is not great. You probably can't even see that. I'm filming on an iPhone. You can see the river down in the bottom here. You can see the beautiful views. And I am carrying on up there somewhere, around there. I know it sounds really weird, maybe it doesn't. And I know I've said it before, certainly on my blog. I just love being on the top of a hill, especially when it's like this sort of wild, barren moorland. I mean, clearly there's sheep grazing on this one, but I can see for absolutely miles. There's some sort of cairn, or that might be the trig over there. There's hills all in the distance. I can see the weather coming in. I just love it so much. It's so good for my soul. Half a mile to a mile of ascent. And now it's sort of undulating up and down like this a bit. I can't impress on you enough how good being out here is. That road noise is gone, just me and the sheep. I'm just going to have a really lovely time. That's a trig point, and my route goes, right, it swings round here and then it cuts across, directly across to the trig just up there. That is where I will crack open my flask of tea. And unlike the Dartmoor hike that I showed you last time, I can actually sit on my picnic blanket and drink it rather than having to hide, because the weather's all right. I made it to the trig pillar. I am at 451 metres above sea level, and I am surrounded by purple heather and the Welsh mountains. The last hour or so, 45 minutes, is proof that it's very important when you come out somewhere like this, you know how to read a map and that you're able to reroute on the fly when you need to. Now, I don't know if you can see, but way up there is the trig pillar I sat and had my break. And I followed that ridge down, walked all the way down into the valley, and then when I got down into the valley, I'd already been through head-high fern at this point, and then I got to a point where I just couldn't see. It felt really claustrophobic, it was so overgrown. I had a quick look at the map on my phone just to have another look to see, am I definitely in the right place? And I noticed that about 45 minutes, an hour ago, somebody put too overgrown, went another way. I have done exactly the same, and basically what I've done, instead of going all the way down and back up, which would be a shorter route but steeper, I've come back out of the valley, and I've got this, and what this is going to do is going to take me along the contour. Probably added, I don't know, a mile or so to my route. It's a glorious day, as you can tell. Cloud base is quite high. Know how to read a map, people. Pillar on my hike. This one's at 411 metres above sea level. Over there is the first one that I was at. I was probably there 2.5 hours ago or so. But yes, it's windy up here, so I won't stay long. Wales doing me proud today. Way better than Dartmoor did me the other day. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, here's an interesting bit of map/route trivia for you. I found it interesting, so I'm going to share it. On my Ordnance Survey map, where I'm stood right now, is marked as a ford, and it is absolutely dry as a bone. And actually, this whole area that I've been walking today is marked as marshland or marshy, which means that quite often it is a little bit spongy underfoot and probably requires gaiters, but not so much as a puddle today. I haven't seen a single bit of water. Just an indicator, isn't it, of even with the rain that we've had in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, that dry spell that we had in the spring and early summer really has dried everything out. It's so dry. Camera really doesn't do it justice, but I was up there just now. That has been a steep descent, but it gets the job done and it gives me more time on the top of the hill. As you can see, I'm back in my car. I have made my electrolyte. I use the Maxi Nutrition electrolyte tablets. I got sent some. I really like them. This is the pink lemonade one. I always have a bottle of water in the car for the end of a hike, and then I know that wherever I take with me, I can have everything, knowing that there's always some water at the end of the hike for me. And generally, I will put an electrolyte tablet in that water when I get back to the car. And it's time to go back to my little wooden hut on the edge of the woodland and enjoy, hopefully, a peaceful evening of doing not very much. I shall be back there by 4 o'clock, and that will do me very nicely. And I will shower and I will eat and I will put my feet up and enjoy my evening. It is at least a couple of hours later. I'm back in my wooden hut. Much quieter on site this evening. Had a really lovely day, and since I've been back I tried out the showers. Very good. You won't be surprised to know that I've had a cup of tea. I've been eating some more of my Quirky Stay chocolate treat of choice for this one. These are delicious. Highly recommend these. Apparently they do chocolate coated raspberry marshmallows. We'll be getting those at some point. Read some of my book, sorted a few bits and pieces out. Just like last time, I thought I would show you on the map where I actually ended up walking. I parked in a lay-by here, just outside the town. This was gently uphill. It wasn't that gentle. This was uphill. And then this, whoop, 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 this was the really steep bit up the hill. This is the quarry here. And so this is kind of the access lane, I suppose. All of this bit was like uppy downy. So you kind of followed the contour. And then this is the trig pillar. And this was at 451 metres above sea level. And then I carried on and I came down here. All of this was really overgrown. The ferns here were well above my head and it felt like I was walking through the jungle, and I didn't like it. When I got here, I completely lost the path. I knew where I was meant to be. There was a fence around this area here. It was just really unpleasant. What I ended up doing, I came along, I don't know if you can see, but there is a dotted line there. I took this and I came out of the valley. I picked up this one here, came round here, and then I followed this bridle way all the way down here and then picked up the path. I don't know, I'm not too disappointed about it, to be honest, because this section across here was so pretty. I came all the way up here, and then somewhere around here I stopped and had lunch. I carried on, came up to the trig. I found there was a path here, came up one way and down the other, always having to retrace my steps on this bit. And then when I got to here, this is where I talked about there being a ford, a dry ford. This, wow, was that downhill. That was really steep down. It felt like I was on top of this farm. Then when I got to the lane here somewhere, I had a conversation with a man called Jim, who was waiting for his friend called Tom. He met his friend in America 48 years ago on a rotary exchange, and they were meeting up here. And I thought that was really sweet, and he was lovely. He's local. Through here, and then just a little bit of retracing my steps to get back to my car. That was my day out. It was 11.5 miles. It took me 5.5 hours, nearly 6 hours, including all my breaks. The weather was glorious. It was a bit chilly on the very top, or a bit windy I should say, but absolutely fine. A really, really good day out. I would highly recommend it, with the exception of the bit that I rerouted on the fly. Hopefully soon I will obviously put this on my blog, and then maybe the next time you're in this sort of area of Wales you can go do it too. good morning from my little hut. As you can see, I've set up the dinette situation, put the bedding away, set this up, and the reason for that is it's raining. So happy Sunday, everyone. It is wet and windy outside. It's not terrible out there, but it isn't the kind of weather that I want to sit and have my tea and do my morning pages sat on the deck. So I've set myself up inside, and hopefully this also does a favour to the owners here. They haven't asked me to break the bed down. I have done that so that I am comfortable for my last couple of hours in this beautiful cabin. I slept so well last night again. I exerted myself quite a lot on that hike yesterday, and I was very tired, and I have been very tired anyway, but I slept really soundly last night in this cabin. I know it doesn't look like much with this sort of foam, but really comfortable, very happy with that. Woken up feeling pretty okay this morning. Still tired, still sleepy, but feeling good. I've got a couple of maps here to look at to see maybe what to do today, although the fact that it's raining and there's really low cloud means that it's not a hill walking day today. The route that I planned, I can save that for another time, and it will be an excuse to come back to this sort of area. Checkouts at 10, pretty standard I think for accommodations. So I just want to reflect a little bit on my quirky stay here at Celtic Woodland Holidays in my, I think they call it a modulog cabin, which I do think was hand built. Cabin made out of wood on the edge of woodland, overlooking some open scenery with the most wonderful sunsets just because of its specific location. It's been absolutely wonderful. It's been full of nature. Obviously the thick woodland means that there's lots going on there. I've got sheep right outside my deck right now, looking at me as if to say, oh, can we come in? Because it's dry in there and it's wet out here. And the cabin itself genuinely has everything I needed. Yes, it's a campsite setup, this one, communal shower and toilet block, but I've never had to queue. It's been absolutely fine. It's perfectly clean. Even a wood-fired sauna, which you can pay, I think it's £20 actually. I don't think it's very much. This is the thing that I'd kind of set out for this summer, that I wanted to go to quirky places, to find soft landings, to find nature, to find something a little bit different and novel and all the rest of it, to kind of get me away and take me outside my routine, do something a little bit different, a little bit unusual perhaps. And the question is, was this modular cabin as quirky as the previous two, the honey down truffle and the caravan on the roof in Bristol? And the answer is clearly absolutely not, but that is okay. I am content with my choices. Still absolutely wonderful, and I would come back here again. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? That's the testament. This is much more of a tiny house. You could move in here for a good few days. I'd better pack up my things, and I'm going to head into Builth Wells for a little bit of a wander. I shall just show a few clips of that, and then I will head home. I would really love if you could like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. There was some questions in this one, weren't there? What did I ask about? Do you have a velvetizer and is it worth it? What quirky stay snack would you have chosen for this particular cabin? And there was a third question as well, and what was that? I can't remember, but maybe you can.